All right, cousin Tone. Listen, brother, are you ready? I hope you had your coffee because our next guest is going to take us for a ride. He is a firecracker, full of energy, and from the first time we met, I knew there was a special connection. And we finally got him on to talk life. We're going to talk culture, hobby, and wherever the conversation leads us. So without further ado, here he is, Giraldo Luis Alvare from the Siempre Pa Lante podcast. What's up, brother? Welcome
Man,
to the Cousins Collectibles podcast. How you doing, man?
man, I'm blessed, man. I'm so blessed, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I'm chilling with the primos. Yes, lo primo. And the one thing that I literally love about your show is the positivity. You know, you tell
Yes.
the focus positive and keep focused, keep positive, keep collecting, but the positivity and the things you're doing is cool. You can tell que sale del corazón, you know, it comes from the
Yes,
heart.
definitely.
Um, and thank you for getting my name right, brother.
Hey, I
Thank
try, man. I got a little bit of, something in me to be able to go ahead and flow like that. But man,
you.
listen, this is something that's been in the works a long time. We met at the National, and that's a crazy story.
Yeah.
And I'll quick get into it. So while I was getting my Allen Iverson autograph on my 101 Ken Carl, cousin Tony had received a phone call from somebody that was near and dear to both of us. And unbeknownst to me, this dude's on the phone chatting with Danny Torres from the Talking 21 podcast. And Danny's like, yo, Tone, I got my boy over there. He's at the National. You guys got to hook up. Trust me. He's the man. You guys are cool. I think it's a match made in heaven. So Tony's talking, chit chatting. Like I said, I'm waiting in the line. I have no idea what's going on. So Tony, I'll let you go, from there exactly what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So, Oz is over there waiting to do his thing and Danny calls. He's like, "Hey, my friend is here." I said, "Listen, man, any friend of Danny Torres is a friend of mine." So, we finally meet up. We were able to somehow get some reception up in there, which was cool. So we meet up and right away, and like I said, Giraldo very high energy, positive, and nothing wrong with high energy. Like, it's like you feel this like I felt like this sense of all right, man, this is cool. Like right away, I was like, man, we just vibed right away. And so I bring Oz and we finally Oz finishes his whole thing and I was like, hey man, I got my boy right here. He's like, who's this guy? I was like, just talk to him, bro. It's like just talk to him and you'll be cool. I'm like, he'll
Yeah,
introduce himself. I'm like, bro, we've been talking the last 20 minutes like if we knew each other for 20 years.
yeah.
So again, man, it's welcome. And we're doing a little bit of a mashup, a little bit of your show, a little bit of our show. So it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna vibe, talk, and see where it goes. But again, welcome, and let's just get into it, man.
So Yo
Gracias,
G,
man. Gracias,
tell
bro.
tell
No,
us, man. Tell
appreciate
us
it.
about what you're doing with the Siempre Palante podcast. What that's all about, how it came about, and give us a little bit about your background as well.
Gracias, man. And to build on that, that was so cool that we got a chance to connect at the National. I'd never been. That was my first time at the
That's
National.
yeah.
And big shout out to our hermano. You know, our he's like he's the godfather, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like Danny T's like a godfather,
He's a
man.
sensei, the sensei,
Yes,
Bruce
sensei.
Lee, like yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's even a better one, right? Like the sensei, because you know he loves Bruce.
Yeah.
But Danny, I know you're listening. Man, we love you, hermano del corazón. Gracias, man. The love that pretty much instill in every relationship you build, and you're very careful about the people you
Yeah.
get close to. And I know that for a fact. But I appreciate everything you do, man. So I want to take that time out to say thank you from all of us, man. Un abrazo. And I'm gonna see you soon, bro, because I owe you a couple meals. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, man. I mean,
yeah, he's gonna eat him.
it's yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's all good. But yeah, man. I mean, Giraldo Luis Alvare, host of Siempre Pa Lante, always forward, culture driven, focused on familia, overcoming adversity and legacy. That's in a nutshell the show, but it's deeper than that. The reason I created this show is because working in a corporate environment, and I still have a great job, corporate America, blessed, able to provide food on the table for my family, and they've treated me very well. But at the same time, I've learned a lot over the past 22 years working with this company. And one of the things is I'm really big on people. I'm really big on culture. I'm really big on treating people like human beings, right? Like it sounds crazy, but that's very important in whatever aspect of life. Treating people with respect, saying thank you, how are you, how's your mental health doing, especially in today's age.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that I just came, you know, you have these moments in life, and we all go through them, the peaks and valleys, and things were cool. But I woke up one day, I said, "There's more. I want more to life. I want to spread my knowledge and wisdom, what I know at least, but then learn more. I'm hungry. I always stay hungry." And that's one thing I always tell people: you pay it forward as much as you can, but you got to stay hungry so that you can pay good knowledge forward. And yeah, 2020 was before the pandemic, so it was what, January, and I called my boy from Oakland, Just Scope, Justin Orr, and he's an important piece of this equation because the logo that you see, and I'll get into that in a little bit, he designed it for me. And this guy I met at Comic Con, New York Comic Con in 2016, befriended him, just like we got to know each other, and it's been a beautiful relationship, man. Just a brotherhood. Like I feel like he's my hermano from the West Coast. And I called him. I said, "Listen, I got this crazy idea, but you know what? Crazy ideas end up manifesting into amazing things." And he's like, "What's up?" "I want to do this podcast and I'm trying to figure it out." And the name actually, and I'm gonna share this with you guys and get some exclusive stuff. The name wasn't Siempre Pa Lante. The name was Ya Tu Sabe.
Okay.
I even got my boy Deso, who's in episode 3, Deso el Afro Caribeño. Shout out to Deso. And we reconnected. We actually, fun story to build on that. Everything has like a connection. It's queer. It's like it's weird. It's like it has like a whole like a spider web, right? We actually reconnected after so many years. I was in the hip hop game. You know, I wrote music, Latino hip hop, and that's a whole nother chapter and episode. But I did a lot of that stuff, and him and I became good friends in the past. We reconnected, and then we went to Losaida, Lower East Side, Adela's. And if you haven't been to Adela's, when you guys come down my way, we go to the city, I'm gonna treat you to Adela's. Adela's, Casa Adela is official Puerto Rican cuisine. Like it is official.
It's making
So,
me hungry already, bro.
oh man. So February 2020, we were there, and I gave him the idea. I said, "Look, I spoke to my man Just Scope, Justin Orr, told them about him. The logo's in the process of being made, but I want you to be my guest. I want you to be one of my first guests." Him and Aurora Flores, true story, were two of my first guests. And without hesitation, they both said, "Yes, we'll support you, whatever you need." And shout out to Aurora. And yeah, man, we kicked it and we were talking about different things, me and Deso. And I said, "Hey, I need a theme song, man. Like if Shaft could have theme song, Giraldo needs a theme song.
Amen.
When I'm walking anywhere, bro, I want the band, you know,
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of the
right behind you, right
I
behind you.
want the dude playing congas in the back and the little el
Every
cuatro.
superhero has his theme song.
Yeah, man. So that's how
Listen,
crazy these ideas. Like,
well, yeah, real quick, just in there, you came to the
go ahead,
right place because we do a theme song for every single person that comes on here. That's a
go
major
ahead.
part of the show. So, which is nice. You already got yours, so we'll be able to, we're gonna have to borrow that. But
Yeah, makes
yeah,
Oh,
our
you,
job a lot easier.
you
oh,
came to the
definitely,
right place. But go
definitely,
ahead.
definitely. Thank you, brother. No, that's cool. And yeah, man, he was cracking up. He was like, "Man, tú estás pasado, papi." And I said, "Yeah, man, but you know what? You have to entertain people. You have to give them something on top of the knowledge, on top of things. Because if you just go straight, you know, bland with no adobo, no sazon, bro, anybody eating chicken without nothing, like un pollo seco, un pollo eso, okay. Bro, we've all had that dry chicken, you know, that, oh, like you go somebody's house, you're like, you look around, be like, "Man, te da pena, pero lo tiene que comer," and you're drinking water like crazy, chasing it down. No, busca la agua, bro. Hey, you got like orange juice or something, bro? Like,
Some flavor. I need some flavor up in here quick.
oh, ¿qué pasa aquí,
Oh,
bro?
yeah.
So yeah, no, he was like, "All right, cool." So I even got a cut. He did like a rough cut, an idea, and it was pretty cool. It was like, "Ya tu sabes," na, 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 na. It was really cool.
So for the Hispanically challenged
Yeah,
individuals that are
thank
listening
you.
to this podcast, can you explain to them what that means? Ya tu sabe.
Now you already know.
You
Basically,
already know.
you already know. So it was interesting. So I got that talking to my wife. Big shout out to Andrea. I love you, baby. And my little bean who is sleeping right now, Ariana May.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, it was wild. Like we're listening. She's like, yeah, that's cool. And we all know we listen to our better half. It's
Yeah.
important. I said, what do you mean it's all right? I think it's fire. I was like, yeah. She's like, I don't know. Like, okay. And I'm over here like, man, the logo's getting done. I already
Yeah.
gave my man like the word, like ya tu sabe, like this dude's gonna make a logo. Then I'm gonna, but it was still time. So she's like, nah, she's like, it's something else. So I don't know what it was. It was, you wake up in the morning and you think about things going on in your life. And there was a saying, my good friend Peggy, love you, Peggy. She said palante, right? She was like palante, and and it was a saying that always like would be said at at my job. Like we had this employee resource group, right? And it's palante, right? And Hispanic Action Network, it's palante, and it's like and then it just hit. Like I was reading something about something happened in the community, Latino community, and somebody said, "Yeah, man, we always got to move forward." And I said, "Wait a second." And it hit like it was just like that epiphany. I was like,
Ding
"Siempre
ding ding ding.
pa'lante, always forward.
Yeah.
Siempre pa'lante, always forward, no matter what."
Got
There
that.
you go. There you
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, I still got them Jones from back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
man. These
Geraldo
days is
Geraldo blessed us with some
There you go.
stickers.
You got like
Yeah,
80 of them
oh
on
yeah,
tape.
like
I
I
have a
got
bunch.
man. I've gone through a lot, man. The last couple of events, man, it was like,
Yeah,
but
that's dope.
yeah, man, it was so cool. It was just it flowed. Siempre pa'lante, always forward, and that's what I want. Not just our culture, right? Because Siempre pa'lante is about empowering the Latinx, Latina, Latino, Chicano, Chicana, Hispanic, everything. I say this like all the time, like so many labels, right? But our
Yeah.
people. But I also am inclusive of other cultures because I want to learn about someone that's not Latinx, but then I can share about my beautiful culture. But I'm one piece of it because I'm Cuban. I'm Cuban American. I was born here.
Mhm.
Thanks to my parents. Big shout out to Francisco Victor Alvare Arce and Imawan Alvare Yera that came here and took that risk. They leap of faith. They left Cuba more than 50 years ago so their son and daughter can have el sueño americano. And that's a perfect segue into the logo. The man you see on that logo is my dad, Francisco Victor
I was
Alvarez.
wondering because it kind of looks like you, but then like an older version. So I was like, man,
Yeah,
There you go.
we know what you're gonna look like.
There you go, man. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy, man. How I like starting to look like mannerisms.
Mhm.
It's wild. Everybody in the family is like, man, it's crazy. Like they see me, and my dad's nickname was Panchi, so they call him Pancho or Panchi. They go,
Yeah.
man, you're like your father, Panchi, man. That's crazy. And that's he passed in 2015, but he's still living. He's still here right now. Like he's here right now, and that's the beauty of honoring our ancestors and paying it forward. And it was like designing the logo. I got a little art skills. Keep it on the low, but I could throw down. And I designed roughly, like I had this concept, and then my man Justin just took it to another level. Like I gave him a picture. I said, "Look, I'm envisioning like my dad right here being the center, like just," and he just took it to another level. And the crazy thing is that never in a million years, I would never like Vegas line. I would lose this bet. If you would have said that I would create a platform to empower, you know, a whole movement, a community, culture, and have my dad as the logo, nah. And then if you ever got a chance to meet my dad, how he was, he'd be like on some niño, pero como tú vas a comer miel? I'll say how you gonna have me on a, what are you, like, you crazy? Get the, like,
yeah.
but, and it was love, Latino fathers,
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
love. And, but yeah, it just right. Everything flowed. Like when you create something and this, Cousins Collectibles, man, that flows, that rolls off the tongue, man. It's like When you create something, you feel it in your heart. And that's how the evolution started. And yeah, it was crazy. I went into a lot of these things like we all do, right? We learn. And the rest is history, man. It's just grinding and really just not losing sight of what I'm building, not getting caught up on the numbers game, not getting caught up of the money thing and trying to keep my costs down. Obviously, there's a cost to it. We all
Mhm.
know this, to promote things, and to do different things, whether you have a platform or you're whatever you're doing, there's a cost. And but not losing sight of what it's about, and it's about the people, and it's about empowering the narrative, and it's about having these collaborations like with the both of you to bring that out, because we're everywhere. We're more than 62 million strong and growing. And I'm sorry, there's trillions of dollars in GDP.
Yes,
Every
sir.
product you purchase, there's a Latin X person, Latina, Latino behind it that is involved some way, somehow. Even if they didn't even involve in designing, they bought it, they supported it.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, we've touched something. And it drives me crazy that this beautiful country we love, they want to treat us like we're invisible.
Yeah.
And we're not. We're
No.
not. We're right here, flesh and bone. I'm here. And you know what? Don't deny the history. Let's right the wrongs. Nothing's perfect, but respect the talents that we have and let us have a chance. That's it. When you
Yeah,
see
we're not
represent,
we're not expecting a handout. We don't want a handout. We'll work for whatever we got. You know what I mean? But at least just give us that opportunity to prove what we can do and who we are and how we can bless you with the talents that we have that God has given to everybody. Listen, we're all human beings, man. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the color of your skin or what language you talk. If I cut you, you cut me, I'm gonna bleed red. Same for you. And Tony might bleed green. It's just I see what you're saying, man, because I've had to deal with that. I'm gonna be 50 soon. I'm gonna be a grandfather, and I've been dealing with this my entire life. My whole like I always talked about. My mom wanted me to be a priest, so I went to Catholic school my whole life. So growing up, bro, in my schools, I was like there was 5, 6 minorities. There was 3 black kids and a Chinese and Asian kid and then the 2 Spanish kids, and I was one of the Spanish kids. So but you can count on on your fingers how many minorities there were, and it's 400 to 500, sometimes 1,000 kids that were all Caucasian white. So I had to grow up in that environment, and there were times where they would look at me like you said, invisible. So I had to go above and beyond just to prove myself. And there was many times where I'm in a classroom and dude, I had to get straight A's. I had to bust my ass, even, just doing everything I could to put myself on the map and excel at sports just to be liked. And, that's something it drives you, it fuels you to now that I'm an adult. I try to, teach that to my daughters. And it's like, listen, you're not going to be given anything. And I'm not telling you to go out there with a chip on your shoulder, but you got to be ready. Listen, the world, it is not fair and it's never going to be easy. But if you work hard, you put your time in and do everything that you can, you're going to get what you deserve. But don't ever let anybody take that away from you.
man, Oz, man, that's beautiful what you just said. And people need to hear that more and more. And that's why I love collaborating with different platforms, and especially platforms that have Latinx, Latinos, and Latinas running them, because we have to remind each other about this and to emphasize that, because we do have platforms out there. And this is not about calling people out. It's just, come on, man, remember where you came from,
Yeah.
because we all at one point in time needed someone to pick us up and uplift us. It's reaching back and paying it forward. And I feel like we can't get out of our own way. Yes, I'm saying that we cannot get out of our own way. Oh, porque, este tipo es cubano. Oh, es hondureño. Oh, he's Colombian. Oh, he's Puerto Rican. Oh,
Dominicano.
Dominican. Like, you go down the list, like, really, bro? Oh, Mexican. Oh, nah, man. You're all my brothers and sisters, all of us. And then let's bring every other culture in, right? Every culture, not every other, every culture. Bring them in so we can educate people, because there's a lot of ignorance. and it's every field, from collecting. Tony and I were talking about that on the phone leading up to this great collaboration in collecting, in the collecting world. You have that in movies, you name it, comics, whatever, sports, everywhere. And the sad thing is, like, yes, there is injustices, but the only way to correct those things is narrative, right? Like stories. If a story's not told, it never happened. But you got to tell it straight from the source. And I'm a firm believer of that. Like, it would be crazy for me to have an episode on Lo Primo, the cousins, and making up stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Oz grew up in Ireland, and Tony was, he grew up in Oregon, and like, yeah, and they started collecting in the mountains, and like, bro, but this is the crazy stuff that's happening in this world now. Like, people just throwing stuff out there, seeing what sticks,
Yeah.
and people believing it too. Like, that's a
Yeah.
sad thing. So the best way to do it, to bring this full circle, is when you do create something and it's more than a hobby. Because to me, this is not a hobby. This is serious. Like, I take this serious because it's from here. It's from my heart. I'm putting everything into it because the time that I'm away from my family, I'm dedicating it to the people. And it's an investment to improve our culture, to improve our situation, so that when someone who might have a couple more people on the following, or like they have a bigger platform and they catch it, because I know some of these, I know people been listening. I know because I get emails, I get love, but I know certain folks, as I run into them, do something at your platform. I don't want anything from you. Hey, you want to be on my show? Great. You don't want to be on my show? Hey, great. I'm good either way.
Right.
But at the same time, do something that empowers our people, not just the Latino people, Latino and Latinx and Latina, but people in general, human beings, so that way others can learn and invite them to the party. You hear that saying, like, invite them to the party, ask them to dance, and also ask them what music they like so the DJ can play their music.
Mm-hmm.
Do it all. What foods you like, let's engage in those cool conversations. And that's what Siempre Pa Lante is about. It's all about that cultura. And we
Yeah.
have it. We have beautiful cultures. And the indigenous, that's something that, to me, like, the more I learn and the more I read about stuff, it's painful to read the stories of what's happened in this country, the real stories and the
Yeah.
real books, not the sugar coated, or not even sugar coated, the books that have literally omitted it.
Yeah.
That's another piece to it that I tell people: do your homework. And when homework, start in your family. You'd be surprised how many people in your family that you can tap into that are a wealth of knowledge. Los abuelitos, los tíos, la tía, like, los primo, right? Like, you'll be surprised, of a lot of the people that are your family members that have a wealth of knowledge, that have books like stashed away and just
Yeah.
waiting for someone to ask. Now, elders, big shout out to our elders and our ancestors, right?
Yes.
Because our elders are going to become ancestors one day. It's inevitable, man. Father time don't win. He's undefeated. Father time, mother
Brother, we
time.
we get in there right now. We you know what I mean? I'm about to, I got a lot of people up in this hobby that they think they're the ish, but they're like 25 to 35. And I'm like, bro, you need to respect your elders. I'm damn near 50. So if you're gonna talk to me, you better come correct, because I ain't playing that little nonsense that you trying to kick just because you got a couple dollars. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I got
That's
I
true.
got I gotta throw that out there. I'm pushing 50. Now,
No, and
Tone, real quick.
I love that. I love that you
Yeah,
say that, because you gotta, if you don't do it,
yeah.
it just
They
keeps
they
running
ain't they
rampant.
gonna respect. They ain't gonna respect. But Tony, talk to me, bro, and talk to Giraldo and our audience. How this hobby and doing this show, where you came from before we did it, and how it's really changed you and a lot of your mindset and your focus, and how it's allowed you to just, man, just take a lot of that negativity and the BS that was going on in the world at the time, and you just, you know what, I'm shutting that out. This how it's helped you to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's been like super, like 1,000%. What's crazy? These cards, it's more than the cards, man. Like, it just, cause dude, like, we were like this whole, and it's every day. You could just walk out the door or whatever, and there's gonna be something negative there. and people love it, bro. People and it just festers and just keeps growing and growing. In the hobby, we have it, bro. We have content where dudes, it's just constant, just talking trash, and I'm just like, man, if you don't like what you, and some people, don't get me wrong, like
Mhm.
they might be trying to change things, and there are say, hey, this is going on wrong, and I'm going to keep talking about till something changes. That's great. But when it's like all the time, and I'm like, yo, there are good things that happen. So let's talk about that too. It doesn't always have to be, this guy's a piece of trash, and I'm going to tell you about it 7 days a week. Well, what about you talk to me about the two or three people that are, doing something good or whatever? And dude, this hobby has been great. It's like, yo, I don't even hear all that noise anymore. It's just like, I don't, and not, it's just sometimes how Oz in this fight, I don't even care. Like, I shouldn't say that, but it's just like, bro, it's a release and it's fun. You curate a collection, it grows. It's like a little plant that just grows and keeps growing. And sometimes it grows a little too big and you got to kind of trim it back. But, you know, that's,
The bonsai, like Mr.
yeah,
Miyagi,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
cut
you got
that
to trim the
joint.
bonsai. But yeah, so dude,
like
it's
the
been,
Christmas
it's
tree,
been
that
great.
Randall Cunningham Christmas tree.
Yeah, so today I
Ah,
posted, the Randall Cunningham
ah.
Christmas tree, and it took me a little, it took me some time to grow that tree, and now
Mhm.
I felt it had enough because last year during the holiday season, I had first started collecting. I didn't have a lot of cards, and people were posting these card trees. And it was a tree, in the shape of whatever cards they liked, be it of one player or multiple players, but they made these trees. I'm like, man, I didn't even have enough cards to make a tree. I didn't even have enough cards to make a branch. So now I got enough cards to make a couple trees, but and it's just because of collecting cards, and then I love that hobby now, and I'm kind of, I regret that I stopped. I didn't know that it was a thing, and you and I actually want to lead into Hiraldo with that with you, because we were talking about last night, and you were said, you know what, just ask us about it tomorrow, about how we didn't know about cards. A lot of people, we weren't brought up in that. It's a whole different thing. We talked about it before, but I mean, I'll kick it to you. Just, what was it that you can even ask Oz? What was kind of you wanted to ask about the whole card thing?
It's our first moment, right, when we got introduced to it, probably wasn't the normal, like, usually like family, you got a cousin or like you hear the story, like comic books, right?
Hmm.
Everybody reads comic books. One time or another, you got introduced to comic
Yeah.
books.
Mhm.
But that's even that in some ways, right? The collecting thing when you're growing up and coming from, a Latino household, it's one of those things like, nah, that's not the first, like, I remember my friends seeing it. And then my first, I ain't gonna lie, like my first introduction, my sister, I believe, gave me 87 tops. Was like my first, she gave me like first little wax, like it was like those the rack packs.
Hmm.
And I
Okay.
got that. And then before that, I had like here and there, like I would get stuff because my friend would like, oh look, and but 87, like that wood, that was
Yeah.
it. Like to me, that was it. Like and here and there, I'm gonna just because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do justice to the show, and I'm gonna just show different cards and things that have impacted me. And I'm gonna tell you the 87 that year was special. That year was very very special, and I'm looking forward over here. There was a card as a kid. If you got this card, it was everything.
Don Mattingly.
Not manly.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in New
This card
York in
right here,
'87.
87. You had this card, and it was hard to get for some reason. Certain players, and the next one, like the next couple, was
Nah,
Jose
Jose
Canseco. See,
Canseco.
so like,
Seiko.
dude, you can tell that you know certain people are a certain age by the players. Dude,
That's
like
it,
it's
right?
gonna be Don Mattingly. You're gonna show me. I was about to say you're gonna
Bo
show me
Jackson.
Bo Jackson. You're gonna show me Darryl Strawberry. Guys like that.
So
But
so that's what like just set it off. And here and there, I got so many things to share. I was like, why not, man? This show lends itself to it, and I can have a little fun being a kid. I'm a kid
mm,
regardless, man. But just
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you really tap into it. But yeah, I feel like we don't have like the means or anything. Like, I remember my dad's like, ¿Cuánto va a costar eso? Oh, okay. I mean, the packs weren't back then, what, 30 cents, 40
Yeah,
cents, if
something
that
like that.
25. Like they weren't expensive. And yeah, that was it. But when things got a little like, no, 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 like wait. And I remember working at a baseball card shop at what 89. Yeah, I was like 12 years old, 11. And yeah, I was 12. Yeah, 12. I was 12 years old. And I got paid in cards because the dude couldn't pay me like it's too
Yeah.
young, right? So he paid me $8 an hour. And I got there in the morning. Shout out to David's dugout. I remember that. Um, and it's a good dude. I mean, it was cool because that was the year like the Upper Deck first came out, the Griffey rookie.
Griffey.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he first got that, and he's like, "You can get anything in the store." I was like, "All right, cool." But I got all the packs out of that box. I almost bought the box. It was like what 8 hours I worked that day, $64. I was like, "Nah, man, they were $1 a pack." So I cleaned them out, and he was just like, all right. But then he got me because I end up, you're a kid, you open everything. Right. I got like 4 or 5 Griffies.
Mm.
In that, like kids around me were like,
Right.
oh, Sheffield, like 4 or 5. Every main player I got. So he's like, oh, I'll give you some more packs. And he got over, bro. Like, I mean,
Right.
come on.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I think I ended up keeping one Griffey.
Wow.
What, and I still got it, which of course, I'm gonna have to bring it. And I got it. Look,
Yeah.
look how old
Wow.
he's old.
So
Remember the
you're
old.
flashing up the 89 Griffey rookie in a screw down holder. But that
Yeah,
dude, that's one of the most iconic cards in collecting.
and it's
It's
crazy
up
because
there.
I was like checking it out because I haven't gotten graded, but it's damn near mint. Like but I
Yeah.
haven't, and I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? In its form like this, just to
Mhm.
like I looked at it before I was like putting it to the side. I was like, wow, like I remember that memory.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel throwing it back, like this brings us to memories, right? So Oz,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, share with you a little bit share with us. I mean, share with us about like what was it like your first introduction to it, and then
I'm gonna tell you
basically was
the
it the
way.
family?
Listen,
Was it
bro.
wow?
Growing up, like I talked about, I was obsessed with basketball. Like, dude, I would sleep with a basketball. That's how crazy it was, and that's not even a joke.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so in my mind, I was going to the NBA, 6,
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to NBA. I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna be the first Puerto Rican up in the NBA, and I'm gonna be 6'6" dunking on MJ. I don't give a damn. Nobody's telling me nothing.
Dale.
I got a couple people that are tall in my family. Maybe I'll be one of those. But in the meantime, let me try to develop the skills. So, but I was always I had a growth spurt. So once I hit 8th grade, I was always the big man. I was a little bit taller than everybody. So then I became the center. But by the time I got to my freshman sophomore year, I stopped growing. I hit my
Mm.
peak at 5'10", 5'11", and then everybody else went back up. So now I went from center my damn near whole life to now, oh, you got to be either point guard or shooting guard. So I never really developed my handles the way I should have been, or my everything else, and my shooting from outside. So that's something I had once I got to high school, which I developed over time. But in the meantime, while I'm playing basketball, obviously I'm gonna be collecting basketball. So now you got the upper decks, you got the, I can always remember those the locker room series where it's the
Mm.
lockers, and believe there was 6 of them, and you would buy them. I would go to Woolworth, beg my mom to try to buy me.
Woolworth.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
Woolworth. Man,
I
you
remember
blew me
going
away.
there
Like,
and
woo,
begging my mom to just,
Woolworth.
buy this. My mom, and like you said, your dad and your mom, nah, I mean, vete pa allá con eso. You know what I mean? That I ain't got nobody's got money for that. Those are what is that? I know there's cards. You don't understand. All the kids are. I would go to the Catholic schools, and you got the kids with the money. And I thought I was the man. I got the locker room series. I took it to school, and I'm showing the kid, and they're, oh man, that's dope, that's dope. And then the one kid comes over, man, that ain't nothing. I was like, huh? He's like, that ain't nothing. You know what I got?
Uh-oh.
I was like, what do you got? What do you got, Tom? Tell me.
Tom.
He's like, well,
No.
I got the Barkley rookie. I got the Jordan rookie. I got the Hakeem Olajuwon rookie. I got them all. And I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, 86 Fleer. That ain't nothing. That's junk. And I was like, took my thing, put it back. I was like, you don't know what talking. He ain't got no damn rookies. He lying ass. But come to find out, he actually had it. And to this day I remember thinking that. And that was almost at like when my, I would say like 11th grade going into 12th grade. And it kind of like fizzled me out when it came to collecting, because up until that point I was all about it. And I always tell that story where there wasn't really, we didn't have hobby shops around here. It was just all about, like I said, going to Woolworth or wherever, freaking Nichols or something stupid like that, and buying a pack here and there, Kmart, and then just putting in my little binder. And then once that all, like I said, fizzled out, I was like, you know what, this isn't something that, because like you said, you never have the people that are gonna go ahead and tell you the real way that these other guys were collecting. They had their grandfathers, they had their fathers. It's been passed down from generation to generation. They would be, given collections that would be worth thousands of dollars. Hey, here's a Babe Ruth. Hey, here's a Mickey Mantle. Hey, here, you know what I mean? All the dope cars that we could only dream of. And these kids have them in their possession because, grandpa is like, yo, I
Yeah, that's a
bequeath this to you, my son.
It's
And
a
then the
The
son to
thing
the
is,
next son.
yeah.
the thing with
That's
that though, that
true.
with
That's
that,
true.
but
Yeah.
but but the thing is, that's their culture though. So like
Yes.
we didn't, that wasn't part of our culture. It was more whatever. It was like I said, like, dude, does your mom know what the heck a pack of cards is? No. Like that's
No.
not even in the realm of, like, no, I'm worried about other stuff, bro. You got your brothers. I gotta get shoes because this guy threw his shoes up on the wire, like all kinds of goofy stuff like that. Like, I mean, so that, I can't hate on, but it's just like you said, it's the culture thing. So now we're just trying to catch up now. We didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
we're catching up quickly.
Yeah. 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 Oh no.
Let's
No.
not get it twisted. We're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
our
yeah. No,
thing.
once given the
Yeah.
opportunity, I always
Uh-huh.
say, listen, we our generations is coming back. Like when I was the first one to go to college in my family, and Tony can attest to that. Like out of anybody that came over, and they came over in the '60s, and they grew up. They basically migrated right to Reading and Philadelphia area. So for me to do that, that was a big deal to go to college. And I kind of had like felt like I almost had the weight of the family on my shoulders trying to live up to this certain, ideal. Not on, and on top of that, like I said, my mom wanted me to become a priest. So now I got the double, keep your, you know, keep doing kicking ass in sports, keep up with the academics, and hopefully we can get you in a monastery and
and
get you
keep it,
Yes.
you know.
Monastery.
keep
Woo!
that religion, those religious studies
Wow.
going.
Wow. The
And
monastery.
yeah, but meanwhile, the Oz wasn't playing that. Once he got to college, Penn State, that kind of like got thrown out the window, unbeknownst to my mother, what was going on in Penn State.
Mm.
So we're not gonna get into the dirty details, but let's just say I never became a priest. So, um, but again, it goes back to when I was at that time and I was the first to be doing all these things.
Yeah.
Now it's like my nieces and nephews, it's a given. Got to go to college. I had a niece go get full ride to Columbia. You know what I mean? A couple other one, yeah, and like three or four of them just like full rides to wherever they go. Brilliant minds, and it just amazes me that what's happened, the transformation from when they came over from Puerto Rico, could not speak English. Our abuelo was working in the mushroom factory. And just barely making it, barely surviving. And it's just like what happened from there to now, and how just given a couple generations with the proper education and the proper focused, to be able to be where we're at. And it's just, scratching the tip of the iceberg, because there's so much that we can do, like I said, if we're given the opportunity. And that's the same with everything. It was funny because when you were talking, I was like, man, listen, yeah, we got Hispanics, but if I look down and I did the DNA thing, and I was just breaking it down. I was like, listen, I got 20% Portuguese, 70% Spanish, 13% indigenous Puerto Rico, 9% Cameroon, Congo, Nigeria, and then the list goes on. Ivory Coast, Basque, France, Benin, Togo, Northern Africa, Cuba. Like, I'm a little bit of everything. And that's what, you know what I mean? We're all like, if everybody does this, yeah, you're going to have your main, percentages. But us as human beings, we all have a little bit of each other in us. And to have racism and to have people look at each other just based on the color of their skin, that we're not equal, it boggles my mind. It's like, dude, we're all the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like I always say, like Dominicans are just black guys with an accent. You know what I mean? It's like it's just what it is, and vice versa. You have Puerto Ricans that are blonde hair and blue eyes that if there's a girl that I work with, everybody thought she was a white girl. And then come to find out, parents are both Puerto Rican and nobody knew. But that's, you know what I mean? That's our culture. That's what it is. It's the blonde hair, blue eyes. It's the black is black. It's the, the brown. It doesn't matter whether you're Cuban or Haitian or Dominican, Puerto Rican, you name it, Mexican. It doesn't matter, people. We all need to just put all the nonsense aside and the politics. I don't even want to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
Nah, we're good. We're
Yeah,
good.
we don't have to get into that. But the fact is, it's there's so many things that tear us and this nation apart. And man, we just gotta spread love, baby.
Yeah, man.
I agree 1,000%, man. And it's crazy because our cultures, we talk about earlier, Tony, you said some light, Tony said some light on the culture, right? It was like it was already part of growing up in the family, like the heirlooms passed down, right? Like well, I collected back in, when Tops started, and here's the whole set. And
Yeah,
Right.
our dads, our moms, mommy, papi, abuelitos, our family was focused on putting food on the table. And the last thing on their mind was collecting anything. They want to collect that check.
yeah,
So let's be clear, everyone. When you hear that, that's what we were exposed to. So as things got better, and sometimes I look back and I'm like, how did my parents? My dad was a machine operator. He washed dishes. My mom worked in piecework, sewing children's clothing, children's factory. How did they do it? I'm over here really successful in what I've done. I graduated college. I got my master's. I'm doing my thing. I've been in the country in a company for more than 22 years. And I find times like, man, things are like crazy expensive. And not that we're doing well, my wife and I, with great jobs, but you still look back. You have those moments you sit down and go, whoa. And then you look at the trajectory of growing up. You look at the other kids you grow up around and things that are passed down. And then like the thing you shared, right, with Oz about, oh, I got the kid Tom. Yeah, because daddy probably gives you, here's $100, here's $200, go
yeah,
whatever. And we see this at the shows. Let's keep it 100.
yeah,
Let's keep it 200, 3, 4. Let's keep it 1,000. I'm blown away. These kids got these like luggage. Like that's the thing about the national that blew me away, because I'm over here proud to show you these cards. They're not even graded. They're probably worth a couple bucks, if that. But they have this sentimental value, and that's what collecting's about. It's, yeah, there's some cards that are a little pricey, and both of you can, because I want to know what's the most expensive in your hobby, because I'm gonna ask that question. I'm very curious. So you both have one of those, right? That you really was like, it's a journey. There's a story behind it, and you're not letting it go. But that's the beauty of it. And when you think about, when we do this, we love doing this. You break away, right? It's get a chance to, tune out the world for a little bit, and you focus on something. You look forward to it. Not that you don't look forward to coming to see your family and your kids. We all need an outlet. And if this can be an outlet that provides us peace of mind, then so be it. But we also got to look at, because this is something I really want to talk about that I noticed at the National. The dealers, the people selling cards, there's not a lot of people that look Black, brown, indigenous, Asian. There's not a lot. There's some, and there's more, but there's not a lot. Tony, what were your thoughts on that? Because I know it's it's obvious. It's the obvious, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's culture, man. It's again, we're not we our there's no, your dad's not going to be there. I mean, or somebody like that. Like this, it's just not. It's not that thing, dude. So we now, as 30, 40-year-olds, maybe we can change that a little bit. We sit up at a show, So, but yeah, it's like that. And I mean, I think it's changing a little bit. I mean, we see some people in the hobby more that, they look like us, talk like us, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, if you look around the room, you're like, oh crap. But I think they're definitely on the cards. We're represented on the cards. There's a good friend of ours that talks about that. But I think in time with the show like this, like we put a lot of effort into our show to bring that to light a little bit. Now we're not gonna hit you over the head with a hammer all the time, but I said we put a little flavor on it, and so that our show sounds a little different than the next guy. And I think that in the long run we can probably change that because right now, yeah, you're dead right. There's not a lot of people. Yeah, I was just at the Philly show, and I want to say, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 dealers that look like that.
if that,
It's
right? And how many
but
dealers and
yeah.
how many dealers were there?
Oh, a lot. 300 for whatever it is,
I mean,
400. Yeah,
and
yeah. But
yeah, and it's just like representation in Hollywood, right? In
listen,
movies,
I'll say this, right?
right?
Like it got to be fair, but it's not like they're telling you not to come in the door either.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like if you want to go set up, you can set up. So it's not, but
Mhm.
That's true.
and
That is true.
you know,
That is a valid point. But at the same time, do they know how to means of,
no,
right?
because you
Like that's the whole other thing,
right,
the process, right? It's
yeah,
not like they're saying you can't come, but do you know the process? And then some of these families, like, I mean, really think about it. Let's go back to the thing. Like our families were working to put food on the table, not collecting cards.
mhm,
And that's the reality of that. But the interesting piece to this too is that I want to make a PSA right now. Not one, I'm doing it right now. All you collectors out there that are black, brown, indigenous, Asian, and listen, white people, we love you too. Come on. I'm not, this is for
Yeah,
everyone.
this not to bash
This
anybody.
is not bashing. Let's disclaimer because you look at me, I look straight gringo. And people don't know what gringo is, I look white. All right, a lot of people tell me, well, I thought you were white. Like I'll be in a room, my own. I've had instances where I'm in a room with Latinx, Latinos, and they're saying stuff, taca, 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 going a mile a minute, and then I'll say something, eso es interesante lo que tú dices. And they look at me as like they get pale.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, all the blood rushed. Oh, oh.
I got that growing up a lot. And I also got the other spectrum where, what do you Cubanos, what do you Latinos do? Like, don't you like that? You Latinos, like, don't you say that? Or like, you get that type of stuff thrown at you. So it's crazy. But I want to say all the influencers, not to digress, but all the influencers out there that got a show or that are collecting, they're doing their thing, reach out to these two brothers. Reach out to the primos, right? Because I know them as the primos. You know them as the cousins. I know them as the primos, right? And reach out to them. They're gonna give you some love, and exchange. Have a little culture exchange. Have a little, exchange about collecting and your journeys and stories. So do it because we're doing it and we're on two different platforms, right? Like when you think about it, our platforms, you're pushing the collecting side and those stories there. I'm pushing the cultural side but we figured it out. So if
yeah.
we can figure it out, I'm sure you're gonna figure it out with your story. So
We've talked about, like, real quick before the upcoming national, like we want to do something with cards, put a little culture, put a little spin. We don't know exactly what it is or what it's going to look like, but when we get there we'll figure it out and it's going to be dope. I just don't know what it is, but
you know
you
what it
know
could be? Maybe it can
mm,
be something like when you see and I'm throwing this out there, the artists that have done Project 2020, Project 70, when you look at the list of artists, start there. What
yeah.
Latino, artists are there? Latina artists, Latinx. Maybe there's some that we can push forward and reach
Yeah.
out and say, hey, and that's a start right there that can help. But again,
Shit, I
it's
want everybody there.
exactly. I got this Oz, I thought of you, man.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have this is the only card I have of this gentleman. And when you see it, I don't know, maybe you have it, maybe you don't.
Ooh,
Let me
okay,
see if
that's the
I have one.
Georgetown joint. Yes, yes. I
I
don't
love
have
that
that
he's
one.
love that he's wearing the Jordan, the patent leathers. Those are fire, man.
I've seen that many times. I almost, you know what I mean? I probably almost bought it like 30 times. I was looking for the perfect one.
It's I don't even know. Like, I got this funny story, a QVC thing, and like way back, I don't even know how old I was, and I called in, and they had like this bundle package thing, and in that package, this was like the Barry
Wow,
Bonds,
Barry Bonds.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
It would look like a
Wow.
Cheeto stick.
Yeah. That was
Um,
before everything.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
Arizona State. But yeah, this Iverson is fire. Like, man, and Tony, like, I didn't even, dude. You said the Jordans. I didn't even like. That goes to show. Like, I've looked at this card a few times, and now
Yeah.
that I see it, yeah, he's wearing the Jordans.
Yeah. Dude,
Wow,
I can
wow.
tell you that in my search for my my favorite card in my collection, I learned how to look at the little details in the cards. And there's
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff you find that, that aren't really the focal point of the card, but
But
once you learn, you're like, ooh.
oh, it makes it
So,
hot. And I found
yeah,
this other
man.
one here. This was pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay. A little patch there, little SP. Is that a Kobe?
Yeah, a little
I know I see Tim
Kobe.
Duncan.
Larry Bird.
uh,
Is that George Gervin at the
George
end?
Gervin.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
George Gervin.
Robinson. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Robinson. Is that
David
Robinson? Yeah, the
Robinson.
Admiral. So
Nice.
yeah, like I'm telling you, it's just the random stuff that I found.
You're
That's
good, but I
bro.
just
That's the hobby. That's the hobby.
Yeah,
yeah,
man. I
exactly.
actually for Danny T, I had to do this.
Ooh, got the
Nice. Little
Bruce Lee
Bruce Lee.
joint. Oh, you got
Yes,
three of them.
dude.
Yeah,
That's
So
awesome.
explain, like describe
Yeah,
those
what
cards real quick.
this is so this is wild. I found this. Some dude was getting rid of stuff on
Mhm.
eBay. Like, I think during the time I really got a lot of these crazy cards was 2008, 2009, when people were just, the recession, right? Like 2008.
Mhm. Yeah.
And this card, there was two of them that was selling for like probably $5, $3. I don't even know. And it's for promotional purposes only. It was a Sports Kings card.
Hmm.
And it was at the VIP card, the National Sports Convention, the 31st annual national.
Oh wow,
And they did this card. So I was like, you know what?
that's
I was like,
dope.
I'm gonna scoop that. And then
Yeah.
I found this online, Allen
Allen
and Ginter.
Ginter. Yeah,
Mhm.
They did this. I
that's
think this
that's
was
dope. That has the classic pose.
Yeah, those Allen
Bruce
and
Lee.
Ginter cards are fire, man. I
Yeah.
like the way that they're designed. They're
Yeah,
really
man.
cool.
I mean, the Tyson. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just,
Ooh.
yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, I wanted to give love to the Vic Power. Yeah, man. It's
Nice.
just so many, man. So many. And we were talking about Clemente, my man. I don't. Where's the card at? I have the card here. So my man F Dot. Big shout out to F Dot.
Nice.
The
Nice. Look at that thing.
Clemente joint. 20 out of 50. He signed it. Not Clemente. That was F Dot.
Yeah.
And F Dot does some cool stuff. I met him at the National. He does like promo stuff. Like, he did stuff for Nike and a lot of these dudes. I mean, it's just love, man. Just like Josie Tellier
Yeah.
from Montreal, my man from oh my god, man, Perez. I know his name Perez. He does, and the Clemente ones were crazy. This is Rosen. I always
Wow.
look for stuff if I can't get the Lauren
Yep.
Taylor.
I got that coming tomorrow. Lauren Taylor, man. We talk about it all the time. We're just big fans of card art. It's
Oh
so
my goodness, man.
it's
Chuck
amazing.
Styles.
Yeah, check
Chuck
this
Yeah.
out.
Styles. This I got at the National. And the crazy thing is, I was able to King Griffey Jr., but they did
Awesome.
a homage to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air,
The
Yeah.
mom.
the mashup. And a really cool thing, just to top it off, like, I'm wearing a jersey just so people, little context. The jersey I'm wearing is New York Cubans, Martin Diego, who was a legend, still is a legend. He's into 7 baseball Hall of Fames.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, and he didn't really like to find his cards. I mean, obviously he didn't play it in a time, but these Helmer, you ever seen these? The Helmar, they're called.
No.
Mm-mm.
Their
No.
promo, actually, I think it was like a brewing company gave them, and you scratch the back, like they gave them, and they started doing different Negro League. See, so I snatched as
Wow.
many as I could find. See, they have a little scratch
Oh,
off,
yeah, scratch off in the
and
back.
then
Okay.
you would get To claim the prize, you redeem your coupons at helmarbrewing.com. And crazy things,
Wow.
these things are like some of the only cards to really have that, and big shout out to Lauren again. I want to give her love because this is going to be my daughter's first baseball card.
It's dope.
That's awesome.
That's her.
That's her.
and
Yeah.
and she was so kind because I remember I was like, oh, I'll take this and this, and then I didn't have enough money. I like literally ran out of money. Like at the spot, I felt bad. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just get that. She goes, what'd you say again? You said that's for your daughter? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give that to when she gets older. I'm gonna give her this card. And she goes, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Nice.
And that was
awesome.
love. That was cool. So, but yeah, man. And I gotta end it with this was my gem. This was my gem.
Wow. Don Mattingly.
Still in the, if you see the case,
Yeah.
this was from
Screw
the
down.
glass case where I got it. This was the plastic. I probably took it out once just to look at it and just feel it and just put it back. And Donnie Baseball, man. And that card right there, I worked at the car shop, and it was like the first, I think that first week I got paid, it was $48. I remember that. I was like, I want that. I was like, I want that in the thing. That's mine.
Bro, the fact that you worked at a card shop, like that's I would oh man, forget kid in a candy store, kid in a card shop. That would be it right there.
Stuff that I
It's
like
we
that
didn't,
year, like 89, that year.
yeah.
And it's in some parts I lucked out because Upper Deck, right? But a lot of the others, like Bowman, when the long Bowmans came out, they reissued. So there was a lot of cool stuff. Griffey's rookie was that year. So I got so many Griffey rookies, but I also gave them back.
Yeah.
To get more packs. Because as a kid, you're like,
yeah,
but,
you just want more and more.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's just fun looking at these and reminiscing with you guys. Look, this is one of my only football like old ones. But
Tom Flores.
Yes. Wow. This dude, check him out, man. This dude,
Tom Flores.
Dude got a nice history. But yeah, man, it's just fun, man, talking about it and sharing this stuff with you guys, man. About here's another one. I know we gotta run, but this is crazy.
The 101. Explain that.
This is some weird. I like certain things that are different, right? Like I don't care if it's not $1 million or whatever. Like, but this struck me. Like I was looking for Fernando's rookie card, which I got it here somewhere. Now I can't find it, but I was looking for his card, Fernando Valenzuela, and this came up, and I was like, "What the heck is the bar?" But it literally has an OG ticket of Dodger Stadium when he pitched, and a jumbo relic of bat. But I mean, he didn't hit. But I was just like, all right, whatever. I was
he
just like,
broke that bat with his ball.
Yeah, but I don't know if this was like but it's pretty cool. And I didn't.
Sometimes it's about just the conversation that it sparks. Not so much the value of it.
And just to bring it full circle, because we started with giving love to Danny T, and we're gonna end the show giving love to Danny T. He was really, really kind to give me this. It means a lot. Clemente has a special place in my heart. And then this.
Yeah, that's so you put up a picture of that's from her funeral, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the funeral of Roberto Clemente's wife, which we were able to be blessed to have one of those as well. So
it's it's those little things, man. It's those little things. But yeah, man, this was fun.
Yeah, man.
I know we can continue to go on and on.
Yeah, we could be here all night, bro.
But let's do a little bit more. There's one more because I'm pushing it. I always push, man. I'm always going to an interviewer, man. So I'm having fun with this. Being the guest. But for you two, you have grails. So share. You've probably shared it with other people, but listen, I haven't heard it. What in your collection is something that has so much? It might not have a lot of value, but has a lot of value in your heart, in your corazón, that you finally got the card. And so whoever wants to go first.
I'll let you go first, Tom.
Yeah, mine's easy. It's the Roberto Clemente rookie card. It took me a while to get it. in the sense that it took me a while to find the perfect copy at a price that I could afford. There's tons of copies out there. And as you learn in this hobby, you start to pick up on the little things. So these cards, let's just say the cards are graded and the cards graded a 4. Okay, well, you could have a 4, Oz could have a 4, and I could have a 4. Theoretically, they're all the same number, but there's levels to the 4. Maybe the centering is a little better on Oz's, and maybe the coloring is a little better on yours. Maybe the registration's so and you don't nobody teaches you that. You got to learn that. Okay, going back to the whole thing about there's a little gatekeeping stuff going on, and you just got to break those gates down. And once you bust them open, you don't close them. You let everybody in. So, um, you know, so you learn what to look for. And it took me a while to find that card, man. And I was able to pick it up at the National. It was actually, I might have been the night that after we saw you. I don't remember, exactly, but it took me a while. I looked at a lot of copies of that card, and that was the goal. I was like, I decided, once I figured out where I wanted to go with my collection, like I want to collect Roberto Clemente, because growing up Puerto Rican, that's all you hear. Somebody somewhere always has a story. Everybody knows him, right? But no, it took me a while to get that card, but I can tell you, brother, when I got that card that night, I go up to the hotel room and I'm like, after all, it was a long day, and I sit down on the bed, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, damn. I'm like, and the first thing I did the next day was call my dad. So, yo,
Oh,
look, I got this. And he knows okay, he knows what but he's like, wow, he doesn't know about like what's it worth or this, but he's like, wow, that's awesome. I was like, yeah, man. And what's crazy is I have it and I hardly ever look at it. It's tucked away because it's just I don't want I don't want anything to happen to it. But that
um,
for me is by far right now number one. And the only one that'll top it is probably a better version than that one, if it ever comes. So, but yeah, man.
Dope. Well, before I get into mine, I just wanted to describe what I believe the hobby to be right now for us, people that are trying to get into it. Like we said, they're not keeping us out. So it's almost like a club. It's an exclusive club, and we're outside, we're waiting in that line. And then you got the VIPs that are coming in that they'll open up the rope and they'll let them in. And they know all about the hobby and they've been there, the OGs, and they've been collecting the Mickey Mantles and all the vintage baseball. They were let right into the club, no problem. Boom, those are the dealers. They're already up in there. They're popping bottles of champagne, and we out here. We're trying to get up into that club. Finally, you know what I mean? They let a couple of us in. So now we get into the club, but we don't know anybody. But we know we're up in there. So we got to try to let's get a drink. Let's get a little bit loose. Let's try to start picking people's ears, start talking, start conversating, and then little by little, oh, this person's not so bad. Hey, come here, Oz. Come here, Tony. Let me introduce you to Frank over here. Now, Frank knows the guy that's in, the VIP, but we're still not there yet. So now we start getting into Frank's ear. And then he's like, you know what? You guys come back next week. Next week, I'm going to introduce you to Timmy. And Timmy will get you into the VIP and we can get you, some secrets. But you got to prove yourself. You got to do those things that's going to get to that level. It's not just come in and here's all the secrets to the hobby. It doesn't work that way. So where there's like we always talked about the kids that are they just been given this knowledge, it's just been passed down. We now have to go in, like Tony said, there's gatekeepers, got to break those gates. We're coming in, we're learning, we got money, we got money, you know what I mean, we got good jobs, we're college graduates, got master's degrees, we're doing our thing. But now it's like, okay, let's get a hobby. Let's do something a little different. We don't have to just work and kill ourselves all the time. Let's do something that, you know, get a hobby, like there's something that we never even thought about, but go down in your man cave and try to figure something out. And that's another thing, just having the money to be able to do these things, to become Americanized and take it to the next level. But once you do all that and you get the hobby, you start getting the knowledge. Now it's like, okay, now we rocking in VIP. Now we got the knowledge. Now we got to pass it down to our generations. And that's what I'm doing with my daughters. And that's what I'm pretty sure you're going to do with yours. And Tony, unfortunately, Your kids are a little bit older, but I think as they get older and realize what the hell you're doing and start respecting it, especially your son. I know he doesn't care. He kind of like you, where you don't really care about nothing, but you know
That's
you
true.
care about something.
Yeah.
Little by little, you just keep planting them seeds. You know, keep watering it, and when he's 20, 30, 40, you know what I mean, then he's gonna be like, yo, what's my dad doing? Yo, he got something crazy going on down there. And then I guarantee you he's gonna come around. But just keep planting the seeds. So I just wanted to like kind of like paint a picture of how it is for us as minorities trying to get into this hobby and how we gotta, we just gotta keep going and pushing at it. And that's everybody, bro. And I like I said, they're not keeping us out, but they're not gonna share anything either. You gotta go for it. Now,
Yeah.
this is a tough one because I got a couple grails, but what the card I'm going to show you right now, this means way more than you would ever know when it comes to a certain, as far as growing up and, my just my whole being. Like I talked about playing sports and academics, but I didn't talk about my singing, my dancing, what I used to do. I grew up wanting to not only be in the NBA, the Oz also had crazy dreams of becoming a superstar singing on stage and dancing. And this card, I have it out all the time. Like Tony says he hides this thing away. Nah, this one, when I come in my basement, look, this is the first card I grabbed. This is my Michael Jackson 2011 Tops American Pie, the Billie Jean, the Thriller album. And that's Mike chilling in his white thing. It's a SGC 10, and it's just a dope card. And really, it's not worth maybe $100, $200. That's not the point. The point is this dude. I was raised on Michael Jackson, yo. Michael Jackson is in me, and if anybody has seen the dance, I spent hours and hours and hours, bro, just in front of the mirror. Just trying to perfect the moves, grabbing the crotch, doing the spin, getting on top of my toes, you know what I mean? Kicking the leg. Just trying to emulate this guy because he was my idol. And this card right here, man, this whoa, what the, did you hear that?
That was Michael.
See, yeah, that
Jeez,
was
I
you start talking about
I don't know
Michael and
what
stuff
the hell
starts
that
moving.
Michael, but hey boy, you better watch yourself. No, but yeah, this card means a lot to me, man. Like it just it takes me back from when I was a little kid. And I always tell a story, like I had gone to Puerto Rico, and for some reason they had like this one little TV set, and it only had like one or two channels. And I just remember Motown 25 being on as a little kid. They had just happened to put it on, and Mike came out. He had just finished up his thing with his brothers, and he came out and performed Billie Jean for the first time. And bro, it was like I was watching a god on TV. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My mind was blown, all the things that were going on. And it was just like from there, I was just hooked. I was like, that guy, that's me. And I did everything I could. So that, yeah, that's my grail card, man.
That's crazy, man. And you see the extremes, right? Like that. I think one has both values. One just has that sentimental value, and that's fine. And that's what collecting is all about. To bring all this together, it's about culture. It's about the things that we cherish. It brings back our positive memories of things and things that maybe we couldn't attain where we knew that go back to this. Our families were putting food on the table and ensuring that we had clothes on our back and ensuring that we got good education. But now it's different, right? We're in the club. We're not just in the club. We know how to access VIP.
Yep.
We know how to do our thing. And I think that's a great analogy to this because it's just not in the collecting world, the card collecting or collectibles, period. It's the world in general. And once you know someone, it helps. It opens doors. And there's a lot of people, like I'll be the first one. Like people reach out to me, man, it must be hard doing a podcast. And like, how do you do it? How do you start? I want to start one. I was like, just start.
Yeah.
Start. And I go, here, this is what I did. And people sometimes get taken back. And I'm like, you're gonna figure this out. So why not help you, and maybe you'll find a better process and come back to me and go, hey, Giraldo, gracias, but you know what? You can try this. That's the love of doing things that it helps others. You pay it forward. So that's important.
Amen.
Absolutely. Hey, brother, thank you so much for joining us. And you know, I guess we're gonna this will be hitting all kinds of platforms. So for your listeners, I encourage them, check us out, bro. Our podcast drops every Monday, Cousins Collectibles podcast. And even if you're not into cars, bro, we talk about toys, movies, everything, man. And, it's mostly centered around cars, but our conversations, it's a they're like kind of universal as far as the stuff you learn or the stuff we talk. We learn all the time. We learn from our guests.
Yeah, they're
So
relatable. They're relatable.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
everything's
sure.
connected. Everything's
Yeah,
connected. Yeah, mi gente, check it all out, man. It's
Right.
coming to a platform near you. I'm on all platforms, you name it, from Apple Podcasts to Anchor to Spotify, you name it. I'm on it. Support the show, rate, review, subscribe, like. Hey, and if you for a cost of a cafecito and an espresso, a little bagel, man, donate. Throw a couple dollars our way.
there you
Let's
go.
help us keep the lights on, man. Let's do this. Come on.
You can pay
Go.
You
me in
don't
cards if
ask.
you want. You can pay me in cards. I'll take cards all day.
Hey, look, they take cards, I take money. So like you want to cut me the check and listen, I'll buy them cards if they want
There
cards.
you go.
And it's all good. But support the primos, big shout out to the primos, cousins collectibles, and they're doing their thing, man. I appreciate you too. I wish you an abundance of health, wealth, love, and happiness, man, and everything good and more. You know,
Appreciate that, man.
deseo
Giraldo,
lo mejor y más.
that's it, bro. This was real, bro. This is. I know I'm a boy in my mind. He always talks about Craig, New York City sports card, real, recognized, real, and we knew from the moment we met, bro. It was this connection, bang, and I felt this aura about you. Like I always tell Tony, it was like, dude, I could just feel. I'm kind of good at judging people, and I was like, yeah, this is a real one right here. Somebody we're gonna connect with, and I know that later on down the road, this could lead into something a lot bigger.
Oh, it will.
And it doesn't have to be monetary. It's just about the relationships that we build, and bro. Look at us. It's just three Hispanics doing their thing. You know what I mean, and talking, and we're talking cards. But the main thing, bro, is just life. You know, and doing what you can do to the best of your abilities to not only further yourself, but further future generations.
Amen.
And what I love about this whole podcast thing, dude, Tony talks about it. It's like a diary. It's just having, like, I always think in my mind, like, damn, when I'm not here, my daughter, my granddaughter, my grandson, future generations, they could listen to me and Tony talking ridiculous stuff right now, and what we did and how we did it. And I think that's so dope what we're doing. And kudos to you, bro.
Thank you,
And
brother.
Tony, thank you for coming on board. Cousins Collectibles. I never thought in a million years we'd be doing it, but we're doing it. So let's mira, siempre pa'lante, bro.
Ya
You
tú
know?
sabes, mi gente, siempre para adelante, always forward. Checa a los primos y no seas vago, coño.
And that's it. Yo, we're gonna end this like we always do, and that's keep focused, keep positive, and keep collecting. Hey, yo, Tone, bring the beat back.